talking about the second-hand shelf for $2. Yeah, you know that?
At the same time.
Second-hand.
So Gerald may not be here in person, but I hope you can get a good sense of his life while reading his memoir. First of all, I don't know, can you hear me?
No, the mic's not working, Ed. Or something.
Okay.
Print guys don't know anything about radio.
Good one.
Okay, so people have asked why Blake House. One of the
That's better. That was it.
One of the reasons because it's COVID, and we know there's a new spread starting, so I think people are a little concerned about that. So it's outside, which is one of our concerns. And Blake House is actually Gerald's local. He used to come here for brunch on the weekend, and he would have drinks with friends and dinner around quite often when he was able to.
Yes.
So, and also Gerald did not like ponderous, lugubrious humor. So we thought this needs to be light, this needs to be informal, and I sort of have a feeling that's what this is, that it's a pretty informal place. So that's it. Still, I wish he'd been around to write about this event in his diary. As many people didn't know about this, but he kept a diary from 1992 to 2017. And the entries are very interesting kind of document of the world we lived in. There were many social events he attended where he had very candid assessments of the people who attended them. And I have a feeling that this meeting, this event would have been one of those places that he would have wanted to have something interesting to say about people. So some of us, of course, felt he occasionally was a little too candid and clear-eyed in his assessments of people. He sometimes shared those comments with people he wrote about. And not surprisingly, a few of them felt a little singed by the comments. Gerald, of course, couldn't imagine why they might have been offending. He couldn't imagine it. So to prevent any more tender feelings being hurt, you won't get to read his diaries for 10 years. So Gerald agreed, although reluctantly, because he didn't believe in privacy, but he agreed to a 10-year hold on his diaries after we donate them to the archives. But I think you could still read a few choice assessments of people in his memoir to read it. So, in keeping with a light touch today, Jerry Oxford and I contemplated writing a piece of doggerel for this occasion. So you know what I mean by doggerel? Bad poetry that rhymes? This was a standard thing amongst our friendship circle that we did for people's birthdays. We'd write bad poems with bits of sharp, loving humor built into them. So Gerald loved participating in this doggerel writing, and he was quite often a target on them as well. Anyway, Jerry and I decided it was no fun for us to write something new for Gerald when he was not here to enjoy it. So we stopped that idea. But I couldn't resist pulling out a few examples of the sort of thing that people wrote about Gerald in doggerel poems past. Here are a few lines from a 40th birthday poem for Gerald. They took his prose to court to scrutinize its rhythmic lines, admiring it so much, in fact, they took it there 3 times. Immoral charged the crown, indecent, even scurrilous. He never seemed to see what it was that caused the fuss. What were they upset about, he asked. Could they be lying? You could see why at the trial one could find tried, so trying. But victory proved that justice yet might win the upper hand. Clay Ruby won by keeping the defendant off the stand. You cannot help but love him when he aggravates you most. When he invites you over, you discover you're the host. So Todd Sherman, a friend who couldn't be here today, wrote the Alphabetorium Hannonium for Gerald's 60th birthday. You'll find a copy downstairs where the photos are. And here are a few lines. And it's got mentioned in the Globe and Mail in the review yesterday, so it's now a bit famous. K stands for KY, colada, and cakes. L is for lunch, which is sex, but with drinks. M is for men, loving boys, loving men. N is for nothing of interest since then. O stands for opera, his latest career. P is the pain he inflicts on Veer. So these were all men in good fun, and Gerald loved giving them as well as getting them. So we don't want to spend too much time in reading from Gerald's memoir. Mark tells me you don't do that really in book sales, but I wanted to quote at least a little bit from his intro. In another bio note somewhere, he called himself a one-time altar boy, a sometime university teacher, a part-time sex worker, an occasional opera singer, and a full-time journalist. And this is his intro. I am, at least by reputation, a sex radical, gay activist dating back to the Cretaceous period, defender of pedophiles, defender of and participant in sex work, sometime porn actor and maker, shameless voyeur, know when to was safe with my binoculars are at hand, perpetual sourpuss on the subject of gay marriage. I came of age in the 1960s and 70s, an era when most of these character traits and activities were illegal at worst and shameless at best. Some still are. Others, gay marriage, for example, have switched sides, transitioning from what many people thought of as unthinkable in a legal travesty to a ritual celebrated in a growing number of jurisdictions, Canada included. I'm not by nature an activist or a theoretician, but I happen to be in the right place at the right time, Toronto in the early 70s. I found the city exciting and challenging, but manageable. And since family was far away in northern Ontario, I could risk coming out of the closet, which sounds strangely old-fashioned now, but was so very important then. You had to find others. You had to find your tribe. If you were a 20-something, as I was, it seemed as if the gay road you discovered was exactly the same age, though I soon learned that it had a history going back decades. Like me, it was eager, horny, curious, not careful, open. The people I met often had similar backgrounds to mine. Small-town boys, frequently the first in their family to go to university, not committed to a career path, looking for sex, looking for love. There was a world of possibilities, at least for white, cisgender young men, an imbalance that would take decades to rectify. You might decide to join an organization, attend 2 meetings, and by the 3rd, find yourself heading a committee or carrying a banner in a demonstration. Like so many others, I got hooked on empowerment, the transformation of the helpless queer with no history and an unlikely future into someone, into a group of someones who uncovered a history, who found heroes, who grabbed today and shook it until tomorrow fell out of its pocket and there was a place there for us. So Gerald had a way with words. I hope you'll find one of them when you read his memoir. So before I pass the mic on to others, I want to highlight a few people thanks here. First of all, the guys here at the White House who've done a good job of hosting this event. To Mark Cote at Cormorant Books, who understood from the beginning the importance of publishing this book. The Glad Day Books and Michael Erickson for managing the sale of the memoir today. The folks at Pink Triangle Press for assembling and publishing the collage of memories and an excerpt from Daily Extra. And especially to Salah Bashir, who has generally supported this event financially. Salah couldn't be here. There's also a number of people who are involved in Gerald's last days that I want to acknowledge now. Bob Wallace, who lives next door, and who regularly brought him talking meals when he was not up to cooking himself. Stevie Newman, a wonderful personal service worker, PSW, who we lucked into hiring when we were having trouble getting support from home care. She was there. She was there for Gerald's last weeks, and she and Gerald bonded, and that made his last days much more comfortable as a result. And Dr. Jean Memorial, who was the doctor who helped during the process of May, medical assistance in dying. She brought just the right kind of professional calm, humor, and care that was needed for what was an intense process, both for Gerald and for those of us who attended. So MAID, I want to take a moment about the importance of medically assisted dying. Canada is very lucky that we now have a regulated procedure legally in place. Think of how impossible it would be right now in the U.S. and the U.S. Supreme Court to make a decision to support assisted dying. Impossible. Gerald was brave enough to choose MAID when he saw how fast he was deteriorating. We want to honor that choice and be very public about it. I understand more and more people are choosing MAID, but families still tend to keep it quiet. We say make it public. The process is in good hands with people like Dr. Memorial. She in fact has a book about MAID coming out later this year. It's called The Last Doctor, Lessons in Living on the Front Lines of Medical Assistance in Dying. So, I know all of you have had lots of experiences and memories of Gerald, so I hope some of you will share them here. But first I'm going to pass it to Peter Kingston, who's been a good friend for years with Gerald and can talk about some of that. Thanks, Ed.
I didn't know how this was. I'm going to first bring up Ken Coker. There's Ken chatting today. Ken Coker, a very integral part. Come speak. I'm asking you now.
Actually, I feel somewhat in the position of, I saw a movie once involving tangentially Marie Antoinette and King Louis.